You bring home a healthy plant. The leaves are green. The stems are upright. It looks full of life. For a few days, everything feels right. You water it. You place it near a window. You check on it often. But then, slowly, something begins to change. The leaves start to lose their color. A soft yellow appears at the edges. The stems feel a little weaker. Days pass, then weeks, and the plant that once looked strong now seems tired and droopy. What makes this confusing is how quietly it happens. There's no sudden damage, no clear moment when things went wrong. It just fades, little by little, and many people feel they must have made a mistake. But you're not doing anything wrong. This pattern is something experienced growers see again and again. It shows up in homes, in gardens, and even in well-cared-for plants. There is a reason behind this slow decline, and once you understand it, you begin to see your plants in a very different way. Before explaining why this worked, it helps to understand what is really going on beneath the surface. A plant can look perfectly healthy one week and begin to struggle the next. This can feel sudden, but in truth, the problem often starts long before you can see it. Many people think first about water or sunlight. These are important, of course, but they are not always the cause. Sometimes, even when you water carefully and give good light, the plant still declines. This is where it becomes confusing, because from the outside, everything seems correct. The soil is moist, the leaves are clean, the pot is in a good place, yet the plant continues to weaken. What is happening is not always visible. It builds slowly, quietly, and often goes unnoticed until the plant begins to show stress. Over time, this hidden issue affects how the plant grows. It limits how the roots function. It changes how the plant takes in water and nutrients. But because it happens below the soil, it is easy to miss. Many people keep adjusting what they can see, like watering more or moving the plant, without realizing the real cause is still there. The silent killer in many cases is not lack of care. It is what happens when the roots cannot breathe. This can be caused by soil that stays too wet for too long, or soil that has become too compact. When this happens, the roots begin to struggle in a space that no longer supports them. Roots need more than just water. They also need air. In healthy soil, there are small spaces that hold both moisture and oxygen. These spaces allow roots to take in what they need to stay alive. But when the soil becomes too dense or stays constantly wet, those air pockets disappear. Without enough air, the roots begin to weaken. They cannot function as they should. Over time, they may start to rot. This process is slow. It does not happen overnight, and that is why it is so often missed. The plant above the soil is simply reacting to what is happening below. When roots are under stress, the plant cannot take in water properly, even if the soil is wet. This is why a plant can look droopy even when it has been watered. It is not always a lack of water. Sometimes it is the opposite. The roots are surrounded by moisture, but unable to use it. Understanding this can change how you see your plant. Instead of focusing only on what is visible, you begin to think about the unseen part, and that is where the real health of the plant begins. Below the soil, there is a quiet balance. Roots grow through small spaces, reaching for both water and air. When this balance is right, the plant feels steady and strong. But when the balance shifts, the roots feel it first. If the soil holds too much water for too long, those tiny air spaces fill up. The roots are left without oxygen. Over time, they begin to suffocate. This does not happen all at once. It is a slow process. The roots lose strength, and their ability to support the plant becomes weaker. Dense soil can have a similar effect. When soil is packed too tightly, there is little room for air to move. Water may still be present, but without airflow, the roots cannot stay healthy. This is why the texture of the soil matters more than many people realize. For beginners, this can feel like a hidden problem. You cannot see it directly. You cannot always feel it from the surface. But the plant gives small signs if you look closely. At first, the changes are easy to overlook. Growth may slow down. New leaves might appear smaller than before. The color may fade slightly, becoming less vibrant. These signs are gentle, and they often do not seem serious. As time goes on, the leaves may begin to droop. even when the soil feels moist. Some leaves may turn yellow and fall off earlier than expected. The plant may seem stuck, not improving even when you care for it regularly. These early signs are the plant's way of asking for a different kind of care. Not more effort, but a better balance. When you notice these small changes, it becomes easier to respond before the problem grows. One of the most common reasons this happens is a very simple habit. It comes from a place of care. Many people water their plants often because they want them to stay healthy. It feels like the right thing to do. But sometimes this gentle care can lead to too much moisture staying in the soil. Another factor is the type of soil being used. Some soils hold water longer than others. If the mix is too heavy or does not drain well, it can keep the roots in a damp environment for too long. Over time, this creates the conditions where roots begin to struggle. It is important to understand that this is very common. Even careful plant owners experience it. It does not mean you are careless. It simply means the plant's needs and the soil conditions are not fully aligned. Once you see this pattern, the solution becomes much calmer. It is not about doing more. It is about doing a little less and allowing the plant to find its natural rhythm again. A simple shift in how you water can make a big difference. Instead of watering on a fixed schedule, you begin to observe the soil. You allow the top layer to dry slightly before adding more water. This gives the roots a chance to breathe between watering. The pot also plays a role. Good drainage allows excess water to leave the soil. This prevents it from sitting around the roots for too long. If the soil feels heavy or compact, gently loosening the top layer can help improve airflow. In some cases, refreshing the soil can bring new life to the plant. Fresh soil often has better structure, with more space for both water and air. This creates a healthier environment for the roots to grow. These changes do not require force or effort. They are small adjustments, and over time, they allow the plant to recover in its own way. It is also helpful to remember that climate plays a quiet role in all of this. In warmer regions, soil tends to dry faster. This can lead people to water more often, sometimes more than the plant needs. In cooler areas, soil holds moisture for longer. This increases the chance of roots staying wet for too long. Even within the same home, conditions can change. A plant near a window may dry faster than one placed in a shaded corner. Airflow, temperature, and light all affect how quickly soil dries. By noticing these differences, you begin to adjust gently. There is no need for strict rules, just small observations over time. This makes plant care feel less like a task and more like a quiet routine. If you take a moment to think about your own plants, you may begin to notice some of these signs. Perhaps a leaf that faded sooner than expected, or a plant that has not grown in a while. These small details can tell a story. If you feel comfortable, you can share what you have noticed. Sometimes hearing others describe similar patterns can make things clearer, and it reminds us that we are not alone in these experiences. In the end, healthy plants often come from a calm approach. They do not need constant attention. They do not need frequent changes. They respond best to steady, gentle care. When you understand what happens below the soil, you begin to trust the process more. You allow the plant to guide you through its small signals, and you respond with patience instead of urgency. This quiet understanding leads to stronger plants over time, not because you did more, but because you allowed the plant to live in a better balance. And that simple idea stays with you. Do less, get more.